We've just witnessed an explosive battle between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, and now it's time to see what the fighters and their teams have to say.
I told everybody Power was fucking gonna beat this nigga too. Y'all know y'all believe me.
What you think of the fight, Rolling?
I think I told everybody after round 8, gonna be round 8.
Hey, yo, Rolling, man.
Yeah, actually, no, that was a beautiful knockout. I ain't gonna lie, that was a beautiful knockout.
It's the main gym, 100 night.
What a way to celebrate, right?
Yes, absolutely. With the family, with my daughter.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Thank you, Mauricio. We appreciate you.
Like always, he comes that one punch, he's always waiting for that to set up the punch, and he got him, and he opened up, and he saw the chance, so he went for it.
Did you see it coming? Did you see the knockout?
Yeah, cause, like I said, he's studying you, he's, waiting for the punch to land, and sooner or later it comes because he has the power.
Leo, there's been some talk of Tank and Lomachenko in November. What would you make if that was to be the next fight?
I think it's going to be a great fight because Lomachenko, he moves really good and he has, a lot of skills and everything. So I think if Tank doesn't catch him, I think Lomachenko is going to be winner with decision.
Do you favour Tank in that fight? Would you favour Tank over Lomachenko?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You think Tank just eventually catches him or boxes him? How does it?
No, I think it's going to be hard because Lomachenko, he moves really good. He has the skills and everything. And I think he could take a punch, but we'll see against Tank Davis if he could take his punch because Tank gets hard.
Leo.
I think that, he did good. He fought his spurts, you know what I'm saying? He held his defense up pretty high, so he was able to maintain for a long time. But I think that whenever Tank was ready to close the gaps, he closed the gaps. Once he seen his opponent wounded and down and out, he went in there and closed the show.
What do you think about Tank's defense tonight against a very live opponent who threw lots and lots of punches?
I think he kept a very high defense guard. He didn't do much flipping to the side or dropping much. He kept a very high defense guard, and it did good for the job that he was able to do tonight.
Great fight, great fight.
What do you see Tank going next, Billy?
What's the interviews right now?
Got you, my man. Thank you.
I seen him, my heart stopped.
What do you think about that knockout?
It's electrifying. The electric man, Gervonta Tank Davis. If you don't pay your bill, he cut it off.
How many rounds of that fight did you see?
I think from the fourth round.
Got it.
Yeah, from the fourth round. But he did his thing. The guy was strong. He could take a punch, and but he did good, man. He did good.
Do you think he should stay at 175, or do you think he should go back down to 168 for the Canelo fight?
I think either way, I think it's going to be good, man. I think this was a good experience for him. It was a good fight. It was a hard opponent, but.
Did you think Tank was at any point losing?
I knew he had it.
Yep.
Frank had a good fight, though.
For sure. They say Tank versus Loma next. What you think about that, Wallow?
No.
No?
I think it was a great fight.
Yeah.
I think it was a great fight. It was amazing.
Why do you think he was so successful with setting that punch up, man?
I'm not going to fight him, man. I'll sleep you, though. I'll sleep you, nigga. I'll sleep you and your partners. I'll sleep all y'all, nigga. What the fuck you showing me?
What you gained from that? What you gained from that?
Just show me your stomach.
Kevin with Fight Hype Kenyon, what you think about that knockout, man?
Hey, man, Tank did what he was supposed to. Processed it from round one. He made a counter punch first. So somebody not comfortable doing what they're doing, and that's what you have, man. The end result.
Made
him exert a lot of energy. Made him keep moving his feet. Made him uncomfortable, man. So shout out to Tank, man.
Did you ever doubt at any moment that Tank wasn't going to end up with that knockout, or that maybe he was having a harder fight than what it appeared to be?
No, it wasn't a hard fight. I didn't see a hard fight at all from round one. I'm saying Frank was a good, very, very, very good fighter, talented fighter, but I just thought the experience factor of it with playing Tank's favor, just the
Before we jump into the action, let's rewind a bit. We're taking a closer look at what the experts predicted before this thrilling showdown. Get ready for a ringside seat as we dive into the excitement before and after the big fight. Duke McKenzie, British former professional boxer, 3-division title holder, and TV analyst, expressed before this refreshing bout between Gervonta and Martin. He said, "If Frank Martin was fighting anybody else, Garcia, Lomachenko, Lopez, whoever, I'd back him 100%. But unfortunately, he's challenging arguably the pound-for-pound best. He's a classy, solid performer, and more than ready for a world title shot." Duke was enthusiastic about the victory of Gervonta Davis, and he was sure that Tank could beat Martin. He was so confident and further stated, "Tank Davis has everything you could want or ask of a champion. He's an undefeated southpaw who can box and punch hard with equal measure. Right now, I don't see a lightweight or junior welterweight who can touch him. I would expect Tank to be his usual calm and collective self when these two go to war. At some point in the fight, in the later rounds, Tank will do what Tank does best and close the show. Tank in 11 rounds." Duke believed Martin was a top-notch fighter, but facing Davis, he had his doubts. Duke was firmly in Tank's corner, confident in his unbeaten record, slick southpaw style, and knockout power. Predicting a victory for Davis in the 11th round, Duke saw him as the unstoppable force in the ring, ready to close the show in his signature style. Reflecting on the electrifying clash, Sean Porter's pre-fight predictions now take on a new light. Before the bout, Porter emphasized the significance of the match for both fighters, anticipating a tough challenge for each. He said, "This is the toughest fight for both of these guys. Once you get to this level, every fight you have is supposed to be more competitive." He foresaw Martin pushing Davis to new limits, describing the anticipated battle as a game of fast chess, where strategic moves would be key. He further stated, "I expect Frank to pull some things out of Tank and force him to do some things that we haven't seen Tank have to do. I think this is going to be fast chess, and this is going to be one of the first times we've seen Tank have to play fast chess." Porter's insights extended to Martin's strategy. He advised him to stay true to his abilities and instincts and warned against doubt and hesitation. He further added, "We've seen him thinking, going through his motions, and figuring out things, and making it happen with a big bang. I don't think it happens this way on Saturday night. So we'll see. Be yourself. What I mean by that is be tough, be fast, be quick, be intuitive." Porter also talked about what Frank Martin must do to be victorious on Saturday against Tank Davis. He advised, "Don't second-guess yourself. If he starts to second-guess himself, that's the #1 thing he can't do. Along with that, if he just does what he's blessed and capable of doing, it's going to be close all the way down." Leonard Ellerby, Mayweather Promotions CEO, predicted a knockout victory for WBA regular lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis against Frank Martin. He said in an interview, "Tank chose him. He's one of the top guys in the division, and he has been for quite some time.
But there's a difference between good and being special. This man to my right, he's special. Everything that Frank Martin..."
When asked why Gervonta Tank Davis is fighting Frank Martin, he replied, "He wants to prove what I already know, that he's the best fighter in the entire division, and he's definitely one of the best fighters in the world." Ellerby briefly described what Tank Davis hopes to prove by fighting Martin. He further stated, "Once he wipes out the entire division, you guys are going to come to the same conclusion that I have, that Tank is the best fighter in the entire world. He has a hit list, and he's going to get every one of the guys that you people say is the top guys." Ellerby confidently predicted a knockout win for Gervonta Tank Davis against Frank Martin, emphasizing Tank's pursuit of proving himself the best in the division and the world. Diaz weighed in, suggesting that while Davis was a top-tier talent, Martin posed a formidable challenge, potentially making it a closer fight than many anticipated. He said, "I get the sense that it will be a closer than expected fight. Davis is one of the top guys pound for pound, but Martin may be the best kept secret. In a very competitive bout in the first half, but the second half Tank makes difference. Tank unanimous decision." Diaz's prediction set the stage for an exhilarating clash, highlighting the anticipation surrounding whether Martin could unveil his hidden talents against the formidable Davis. Reflecting on the post-fight analysis, Rich Murata's pre-fight prediction resurfaced, underscoring the stark contrast he saw between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. The Gervonta Davis-Frank Martin fight boils down to a few simple equations. Tank Davis is a special fighter, and Frank Martin is not. Tank Davis is a huge puncher, and Frank Martin is not. Tank Davis has fought top competition on the big stage, and Frank Martin has not. I don't get caught up in heated press conferences or some sparring session from years ago. There's a wide class difference between these two. A round or two of probing by the fighters. But then those left crosses and left uppercuts of Tank will take over, and he will stop Martin within 5 rounds. Murata emphasized Davis's exceptional skill set, power, and experience against Martin's relative lack thereof, advocating for a surprising victory for Frank Martin against Gervonta Davis. Jolene Mazzoni highlighted Martin's skills and strategy, emphasizing the need for him to outbox Davis and avoid his mighty left hand. Mazzoni said, "I am sure I am one of the few going for this pick, but I think that Martin has the talent and style to pull the upset. Martin needs to box Davis's ears off, make make Davis very uncomfortable and stay away from the left hand. If Martin doesn't let the lights and all the shit-talking get to him, sticks to the game plan that I am sure Derek has, he has a very good chance of pulling the upset. Martin by 12-round unanimous decision. Camille Estefan, promoter from Eye of the Tiger, made his prediction for the Davis versus Martin bout, acknowledging Davis's formidable power and defensive skills. He expressed his reviews. Davis packs so much power and has this canny ability to find the perfect angles for maximum impact, besides the fact that he has some very good defensive skills and is very difficult to hurt. Martin is extremely athletic. He is very slick with very decent power, yet it is a major step up in competition for Martin fighting Gervonta Davis. All that being said, I don't think it will be a picnic for Gervonta Davis. I see this being a challenging fight, but I do believe that ultimately, Davis will find the hole and probably get a KO win in the 10th or 11th round. Estefan anticipated a challenging fight for Davis, but ultimately predicted a KO victory for him in the 10th or 11th round, citing Davis's ability to find openings and capitalize on them. Before this electrifying fight, Eric Botcher, the esteemed matchmaker, offered his prediction for the Davis versus Martin showdown, recognizing Gervonta Davis as a pound-for-pound talent. He said, "Tank Davis is a bona fide pound-for-pounder at this point. He's the pick, although Martin has the energy of someone who legitimately is coming to win. He doesn't have the experience, but if Martin performs well here, he bears watching in the future. Tank just has extreme power, a high ring IQ, and seems to be in his prime. Martin can fight and has some moments in losing a decision." Despite acknowledging Martin's determination, Botcher emphasized Davis's experience, power, and ring intelligence, making him the clear favorite. Bob Santos, a seasoned trainer, predicted a competitive fight in which Davis would gradually assert control with his diverse arsenal of techniques. He stated, "Tank is going to set traps, and his body punching is going to be the difference. I got Tank in a competitive fight, but he'll be pulling away toward the end. I think he's got more tools in the arsenal. Thanks by decision." Despite Martin's anticipated challenge, Santos also envisioned Davis pulling away in the later rounds, ultimately securing a victory by decision. Wayne McCullough, former world champion turned trainer, offered his perspective before the Davis versus Martin bout, highlighting the fighters' contrasting styles. He said, "Both fighters are southpaws. Martin may be a little faster compared to Tank's power punching style. Martin is slick with his right jabs and lands hard lefts to the head of his opponents. If he can avoid the big shots from Tank, he has a chance to win." McCullough noted Martin's speed and slick boxing skills, particularly his ability to land hard shots with his left hand. However, he emphasized the importance for Martin to avoid Davis's powerful punches to have a chance at victory. He further stated, "Tank is used to winning inside the distance and is probably expecting the same in this fight. He has to start quickly as he has been out of the ring for over a year. His right jabs will set up his lefts, which I think he will catch Martin with easily. Tank will catch Martin's head with straight lefts and some left uppercut to get the KO in around the 5th round." Predicting that Davis would utilize his jab to set up devastating left-hand shots, McCullough foresaw a 5th-round knockout victory for Davis. Rudy Hernandez, an esteemed trainer, offered his pre-fight perspective on the recent clash between Davis and Martin, acknowledging the talents of both fighters. He said, "A very interesting fight. Two very talented fighters. One on the rise, Martin, and Tank looking for bigger names to add to his win column. I'm looking forward to it. Martin is a very solid opponent, but experience will play a big part, and Martin may not win this one, but he'll eventually become world champion the second time around." While recognizing Martin's potential, Hernandez emphasized Davis's experience and desire to secure victories against top-tier opponents. He further stated, "I'm going to pick Tank Davis by knockout. Tank is a very smart, calculating punch who has the ability to time his opponents and then let those hands go with great timing and power. In what round Davis wins, that's the hard one to pick. I'll say within 8 rounds." Hernandez anticipated a competitive bout, with Martin proving to be a solid adversary, but ultimately predicted a knockout victory for Davis. Tony Sims, another respected trainer, echoed the sentiment of a competitive early phase in the Davis versus Martin bout. He stated, "Tank Martin will be competitive until the halfway point. I feel Tank will KO Martin late on." He diverged slightly in his prediction, foreseeing Davis securing a late knockout victory over Martin. In the midst of diverse predictions, John Scully, another seasoned trainer, offered his perspective before the bout. He viewed Martin as a formidable underdog, poised to give Davis a tough challenge throughout the fight. He said in an interview, "I like Martin to be a highly competitive underdog in this fight. At the end of the day, it's hard to pick against Tank, but I'll say Martin is in the fight the whole way and should give a great account of himself. If I had to bet, I'll bet on Tank over the distance, but it'll be no cakewalk unless he catches Martin really early on." Scully recognized Davis's skill, but believed Martin could stay competitive. He predicted a Davis win by decision, but warned it wouldn't be easy without an early lead. Trainer Mark Ramsey also shared his perspective, acknowledging Martin's talent despite his lesser-known status. Davis. He stated, interesting fight against a non-so-known opponent, but not less talented. But this being said, Tank can control all aspects in a boxing ring, and I don't see Martin winning the fight. Tank TKO 6. He predicted a TKO victory for Davis in the 6th round. Now let's examine what happened in their final press conference. Gervonta Davis delivered a clear warning to his opponent, Frank Martin. Davis confidently declared his intention to dismantle Martin. He said, I'm gonna break you up. I'm gonna split all that up under your eyes. Every time I tell people something is gonna happen, what happens? With an air of certainty, Davis hinted at Martin's impending realization of the challenge he faced, particularly once Davis's punches began to land. He further stated, it hasn't even hit him yet. He'll see Saturday. It's gonna hit him, especially when I touch him. What is he bringing to the table that I haven't seen? Before the bout, Gervonta Davis urged fans to tune in for what promised to be an exciting event, emphasizing the stacked undercard and his dedication to delivering a stellar performance. He said, come out this Saturday because it's gonna be a great fight with a great undercard. Don't get your popcorn or your juice. Stay locked in because I've been locked in for a long time now, and my give back is gonna be a great performance on Saturday night. Regarding his opponent's demeanor, Davis suggested that Martin's bravado might falter under the pressure of the upcoming challenge.
Shaking. He was just shaking a little bit. You know what I mean? So.
He was shaking, so you're seeing him move a little bit? You think he's a little bit apprehensive?
Talking a little tough yesterday when I ain't come to the rival, but today he's shaking up there talking, so I know that, you know.
Frank, how do you want him to respond to that?
I'm scared. I'm so scared. You know?
It's gonna show. Don't worry about it. It's gonna show.
I'm scared as hell.
I know.
I'm scared
front runner.
Motherfucker.
That's what he is.
Yeah, that's
front
right.
Runner.
That's right.
Tank, do you think your experience, because you have been main eventing pay-per-view after pay-per-view all over the United States and really making some huge gates, pay-per-views, et cetera, that your experience is going to play a factor in this fight?
Of course.
Hell
of course.
No.
Of course.
Hell no.
Of course. Don't worry about it. He'll see Saturday. It ain't gonna hit him yet. I'm telling you. It's gonna hit him though.
It ain't gonna hit me.
It's definitely, especially when I touch you.
Hey,
definitely when I touch you.
Hey, you gonna get touched too. So what did you say?
If you can touch me.
What about if you could touch me?
Bro.
He stated, he's shaking up there. He was talking tough yesterday when it was just him. It's gonna show. He's a front runner. Davis observed Martin's nerves during the pre-fight events, hinting that Martin's tough talk might not hold up once they stepped into the ring together. He said, he's just worried about not getting knocked out. He's not worrying about winning. He's trying not to get knocked out. He ridiculed Martin's talent while saying, all that movement he has is just fake footwork. It's regular, mediocre. On the other hand, Frank Martin confidently asserted his readiness to dominate the ring. In a final press conference before the fight, Martin expressed gratitude for the opportunity while warning Davis that he's never faced anyone like him. He said, June 15th, it's going down. We're here. Like I've said before, I appreciate Tank giving me the opportunity to whoop his ass. He just hasn't been in there with anybody like me. As fight night was close, Frank Martin doubled down on his prediction of victory over Gervonta Davis. He stated, this can go down however he wants it to go down. If he acts up, like I've been saying, you're gonna see Gervonta Davis get knocked out. If he acts up, he's getting knocked out, period. If he acts crazy, he's going to sleep. In a pre-fight press conference, Calvin Ford, Gervonta Tank Davis's trainer, shared his perspective on the upcoming match against Frank Martin. Ford expressed a desire for Martin to bring his A game, emphasizing that he wants Martin to push his fighter's limits.
I want to fight just like Tank. I want to be just like Tank. Because we're going to put that work in. Darn. We've been friends for years.
Not going to stop it.
No, we've been friends for years, but this clinic, it's good. Hey, Martin, you know what I told you? Come with it, please, because I need that button push. I need you to push his button.
Calvin stated, I want Frank to come with it because I need him to push that button. I haven't seen it yet. I know what's under that hood, but there's a button yet to be pushed. I'm asking Frank to please push that button. It's nothing personal, but Frank is in the way. In response to Calvin's provocation, Frank Martin embraced the challenge with gusto.
I'm indifferent, you know, when you say, Kyle, when you say push them buttons, I'm gonna push every button that he got on his ass. Everyone.
He stated, Calvin's telling me to push those buttons. Well, I'm coming to push every button he's got. Come out and expect a good fight. Let's get it. At the press conference, Martin commented on his opponent's rigorous training regime, acknowledging the intensity of preparation on both sides. He said, he's been working his ass off because he knows what time it is. He's been grinding. We haven't seen too much of you. It's because he knows this is real. Reflecting on his journey, Martin expressed gratitude for his position while maintaining focus on the task at hand, victory. Martin believed, it's a blessing to be in this position, but it won't hit me until I get the win. I feel like I worked, and that's why I'm here. Now I have to get this win, and then it'll all hit me. Martin exuded confidence in his own preparation, assuring that he and his team were prepared for any challenge. He confidently said, he comes out to hurt everyone he fights. We've heard that before. We're not worried about any of that. We're ready for whatever he's about to bring. We got his number. Martin remained unfazed by his opponent's strengths, prioritizing the execution of his game plan. He added, I just have to go in there and fight my fight. Be comfortable. He has good power, but it doesn't matter. With determination in his voice, Martin stated his clear objective, to secure the WBA strap and establish himself as the new face of the division. He declared, I'm here to get my hand raised and come out with that WBA strap. Then there's a new face in the seat, and it's gonna be me. In a pre-fight press conference, Errol Spence Jr., renowned pound-for-pound star and promoter for Frank Martin, exuded confidence and assurance in his fighter's abilities.
I guarantee you, Frank gonna put on a great show and a great performance. He's ready for this moment. He's been ready for this moment for a long time.
He further stated, I guarantee you that Frank is going to show everyone why he's the best 135 pounder in the world and the new WBA lightweight world champion. Spence declared with conviction that Martin will undoubtedly demonstrate his prowess in the bout. Now, as the echoes of the final bell fade and the dust settles in the ring, it's time to reflect on the electrifying clash between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. From the intense buildup to the explosive exchanges, every moment was packed with anticipation and excitement. So, what's your take on the showdown? Did it live up to the hype, or were there surprises along the way? Share your thoughts and join the conversation as we break down the epic battle between Davis and Martin.